The year was coming to a close, and I had done nothing to make Jessie Giles a household name. I was living in the city at the time, and I would find myself wandering the streets looking for my next big break. Or at least some inspiration. I had big dreams, but to keep the lights on, I had to settle on small town stories. Which is how I ended up at this shabby theater stuck writing a historical fluff piece. The place was unassuming, but I wouldn't have called it small. I thought it would be empty. Until I stepped inside and found a lone figure center stage. For some reason, I stayed and watched. I introduced myself to her in the hope she could give me some inspiration. She reveals her name to be Noelle Diamond? I couldn't believe I hadn't recognized her before. She was a decades-old Broadway star. I took a chance and proposed that she be the subject of my next play. She agreed, and I rushed back home to make arrangements to stay at the theater. This was the opportunity of a lifetime, to write about a long-gone star, something to invoke nostalgia. Watching her was exhilarating, exactly like how everyone described her back in her prime. It was hypnotizing, the way she performed, as if no time had passed. A friend of mine called me, worried, for I had gone radio silent for some time at this point. I was too focused on my story. I needed this to work. It was a hard decision. I didn't want to betray Noelle, but I thought it couldn't hurt to go home, just for a day. This didn't bode well for the former actress. She became increasingly angry with me for abandoning her. I too grew annoyed and said some things I would regret. I told her I could never make her a star. She was furious. I had failed, and I was afraid she'd never let me come back. Should have known she'd never let me leave. It didn't take long for a mob to form around my lifeless body. After taking my life, all that mattered to her was the sound of a crowd, an audience. Noelle finally received the encore she'd wanted for so long.